Hello and welcome to another episode of Dragon Ball Rage Blast 2 character breakdowns. And in today's video we're covering the one, the only, the bird-loving robot himself, Bastion Overwatch 2. No, I'm joking. It's Android 16. And you might be wondering, who is Android 16? And why does he love birds? And why is he so tall? Okay, well, let me give you a little breakdown on how his story goes. So basically, Androids 17 and 18 come out of their pods because Old Man Garo lets him out. But then Android 17 is like, I don't like old people very much. 18? Get the old man killer! And then kills Garo. And then they find another pod that hasn't opened yet and decide to open it. And then they open it, 16 comes rising out like a casket. And, well, let's just say he's not exactly an engaging personality. The only thing he really enjoys in life are his company and the birds. I like bird. What's with big characters and liking birds? I never understood that. And basically all his role gets devolved to over the course of the Android saga is defending 17 and 18 from first form Cell, and then attempting to defend 18 from second form Cell, and then failing, and then he gets patched up by Bulma, and then he tries to blow himself up on Cell, but he didn't because Bulma's an idiot and took out the self-destruct mechanic, and then 16 gets his head lopped off, he gives a cool speech to Gohan, and then he dies. I'm sorry, it's another character where the incredible story ends with, and then he dies. It's a bit of a common trope in this series. Overall, you might be wondering, how does Android 16 play within Raging Blast 2? And let's just get into it, because there's a lot I want to talk about. First up is the Hell's Flash. Now, before I jump into what the super attack does, I do think it's important to mention that since 16 is an Android character, he cannot naturally charge ki until he reaches full potential. And because of this, using super attacks is a lot more risky, as it takes a lot of ki from the character. And the only way you can really realistically get ki back as an Android character is to perform rush attacks. So it becomes a matter of urgency when it comes to using supers. Like, these supers need to be really good for you to be willing to waste the amount of ki on them. So let's talk about Hell Splash. It's not exactly the most extravagant move. It's a grab type move that's unblockable. However, if the opponent has really good timing, they can basically deflect the grab completely. But otherwise, it's an unblockable grab. It can be hit at close range. The launch isn't that great, but overall it's solid. I like the animation, it's cool. I love how they implemented 16's, little ki blast hand things. It's really fun. But yeah, it's a grab super. Let's move on. It's pretty simple. I-beam. Yeah, this is definitely a move. It's a short-range, quick-acting projectile that does a mediocre amount of damage. The game says it can be blocked, but I have yet to come across a situation where it has been blocked. So I don't know if the AI is programmed to not block it, or I'm just not getting them to block it. In any case, this is a really weird move, and I highly suggest against it, purely because of the fact you're spending so much ki on so little, and it takes a decent amount of time to come out and initialize. So I don't really think this is a move you should be investing in or trying to string into combos and stuff. I just don't really think this is worth your time, honestly. So let's move on. Alright, Pump Up. I discussed this in the Nazu video. It's basically a flat attack and defense boost for a short amount of time. It's nothing more than that, honestly. There's no secret gimmick where you get super armor. There's no secret gimmick where your super attack damage is buffed or anything like that. It's just a flat melee attack buff and a flat defensive buff for a certain amount of time. Not really much to talk about here. It's a solid little buff. I don't mind spending ki on it because, who doesn't love extra damage? So there you go. Let's move on. Explosive Wave. Been a while since we talked about Explosive Wave. If you're new to the series and you don't know what Explosive Wave does, basically it's an AoE explosion type move where it does decent damage to anyone nearby. It can be blocked though, so bear that in mind. And also After Image Strike completely nullifies this move. So, one secret mechanic of this move is the fact that it can completely nullify most projectile super attacks and most projectile ultimate attacks, which I find really useful in urgent situations. So honestly, I'd rather use this move defensively than I would offensively, since a lot of its utility stems from that. But you can use it however you want. It's a very, very ambidextrous move. Is that the right word to use? Ambidextrous? But it's useful. The point is that I'm making is it's a really useful move. Rocket Tackle! Much like the I'll Never Forgive You move from Bardock and Hyper Tornado from Pikkon, it's a dash damage type super attack that can track most opponents, depending on how far you fling them. It also does solid damage. It can be blocked. You can combo this quite frequently, and it does do decent damage. And it's got a very generous amount of frames when it comes to how you can implement this move to combos. So you will string this move quite frequently. And I honestly like to run this move on 16 more than I-Beam because it's just a lot more useful when it comes to finishing off combos and whatnot. Overall, it's a very solid move. Definitely one of 16's strongest. And that's pretty much all I can say for Rocket Tackle. The signature skill. Yeah, I'm just gonna be outright here. Rocket Punch sucks. It's really bad. Like, if you're not cancelling out with a guard to like throw the opponent off, you're either breaking their guard and not landing anything afterwards, or you're connecting the move and you're stuck in an animation, rendering the turnaround attack useless. And if you break their guard with the Rocket Punch, because you're stuck in the animation where the punch has to come back to 16, you don't even have enough time to follow up on it. It's just a really pointless signature skill, and it's unfortunate because it's a really cool idea and concept. It's just not that well implemented. And for the ultimate attack, we have a unique grab. Unlike Hell's Flash, this one cannot be deflected or blocked. It has to be dodged. Like, you have to have a move that dodges grabs for this to work. And even then, like, there's a chance you might get hit by this anyway, because the lunge on this ultimate attack is pretty impressive, actually. So I should have explained what happens when you actually land this move. You will grab the opponent and then blow up, performing over 20k of damage, and you will be left at 1 HP. It's a sacrificial type ultimate attack, but for the damage it does, I don't mind. And also the fact that it's really, really easy to land. Like, it's very difficult to get away from this move. All in all, I'd say this is a very good ultimate attack. Very solid. The sacrificial part is a little bit unfortunate because, you know, you'll be left at 1 HP and it's very risky, especially in multiplayer and certain CPU matches. So I imagine a lot of you are used to sacrificial ultimate attacks by now, since Majin Vegeta and Chaozu and whatnot. But honestly, I don't mind this ultimate attack. It's very good, it gets the job done, it has good damage, very hard to avoid. The activation is really simple, provided you know how to play Android character as well. So yeah, very, very solid ultimate attack. Very, very fun to land. I like it. That's Android 16 for you. Honestly, he's, I want to say average, but he's kind of less than average in my opinion. It doesn't help that he has a borderline useless signature skill that costs ki, and a lot of his kit seems to really revolve around you being close to the opponent, which can be good for an Android character since that's how they build up ki. But a lot of the game is very, very range orientated. So if you don't have a move that can hit from afar, I don't know if Rocket Tackle really counts here, because Rocket Tackle doesn't have any kind of way to nullify incoming damage or any way to defend yourself outside of Explosive Wave. I just think 16 lacks a lot of ranged options, but otherwise he'd be really good. So he may not be very akin to my playstyle, but he might be akin to yours, and I don't think it's fair to judge a character based on if they're good at close or long range. So overall, I'm going to say Android 16 is just middle of the road. He's okay, I don't really see any issues with him. He has a solid moveset. I would definitely get rid of I-Beam though. I-Beam does not need to be there, it's so bad. So as always, I'm going to leave you this video off with some gameplay footage showcasing what we've learned in today's video. And as always, if you've gone on to enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and stay tuned to the community tab where I put up polls to see what characters you want me to cover next. So yeah, enjoy the footage, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next breakdown video.
では遠慮なく全てを闇にしてやるが これで終わらせる。